Hello everybody, Dokkan here. Welcome back to another Dokkan battle video. This one's gonna be a little bit iffy because we're gonna talk about some of the trashiest units released last year in 2024. Some of these units are my thoughts, my opinions as to why they might have been super bad. They dropped the ball. They could have been a lot better. Things like that. Those are some of the my characteristics as to what I would consider as one of the worst units released in 2024. There's no rating system on this. I don't plan on scaling between number 10 to number 1 or number 1 to number 4, things like that. You guys can be able to arrange them in the order that you guys would like. For me, I feel like these are the order that they came out, the order that they released, and I consider my thoughts and opinions as to why they are categorized as some of the worst units released in Dokkan in 2024. So we're gonna go jump in quickly here. So I'm gonna take you guys back to the beginning of 2024, back in January, almost a year to the dot. Let's go with number 10. Now, when I say number 10, it's just the first unit, the first one that comes to mind. But this is, I guess you would say that this is in chronological order of release from the beginning of 2024 all the way to the end of 2024. Those are the only things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. There's no arrangement. There's no, oh, let's put Super Trunks as the number 1 worst units ever released. No, you guys can be able to place them here and there. There are some very controversial ones that maybe not a lot of people will be in tune with it. And this is, again, my own thoughts and opinions, that either they could have made the unit a lot better, or they just dropped the ball. They made this guy really trashy, things like that. So we're gonna start off with our boy Super Trunks. A year to the day, as I'm recording this video, January 3rd, 2025, this guy came out. So here is my problem with Super Trunks, or Super Saiyan Trunks. I hate him a lot more than one of the units that I will show here, but I'm not going to show him just yet. But I feel like this unit has been sort of the meme or the joke of 2024. A lot of useful things come out from this guy, and I've seen some silly cheese runs here and there on the community saying oh, well, if you get to here and you can be able to use this, well, this just basically hands you a big advantage. But to get to here, you have to not only go through here, but this can also save your behind, right? So the problem that I have with Super Trunks is that he only has a 50% chance to guard, and he only gets that if you have 3 or more Android/Cell Saga category allies on the team, which means that you either are running this guy on his own team, or you're kind of compromising the team with some of the characters that are one of the top tier characters that are not in this list, right? Saiyan Vegeta. He is a good lineup and a good pairing with Super Saiyan Trunks. Now, I would say that because, coincidentally, that Vegeta is the Vegeta that fights up against Android 19. So he is on Android/Cell Saga, but he actually was a saving grace for this guy, so he can be ran on not only his team or having Vegeta be run on this guy's team, but you can also have this condition be fulfilled on the team, either on Vegeta's team or his team, wherever you're setting this guy up. The issue was that either he wasn't good defensively, because the time of his release was so bad that over on Global, there's another unit that I will talk about that kind of coincides with an event that came out on Global that kind of messed things up and made this guy really bad, and it was up against the Shadow Dragons. That was the toughest content that we have at the moment, apart from I don't think, yeah, the Red Ribbon Army, Red Sun stages, they came out before this guy released and all those stuff, and that was the hardest tier of content that we were able to measure the character on So having Super Trunks being this like not well-rounded design of a character, having a little bit of a hole in his team, kind of made things a little bit uncomfortable as to how to run him. Now, you can get through this. Again, 50% chance to guard, and you need to have 3 or more androids on Cell Saga category allies on the team. Now, if you had Super Trunks at least 55%, he can be able to toss at least 2 super attacks. That's the reason. One of the main reasons why I'm pointing this out is that the only way to get him to transform is that if the character performs at least 5 or more attacks in battle. He has that chance of getting an additional, the additional that has a 70% chance to become a super, which is good. That'll help him defensively because he only raised attack and defense for the turn. But this character needed to do 5 attacks, and there were instances when I did the 55% showcase video back last year where if we did not get him his 5 attacks, there was no way to see this guy just yet, or you had to be fighting an enemy whose name includes Cell starting from the 5th character, so they kind of exclude him from doing this transformation naturally. You had to do the transformation by him performing the 5 or more attacks in battle if you were fighting any other boss that was not named Cell, which was one of the main reasons we did the showcases up against the Red Ribbon Army Cell stage, because it was easier for you to gain the transformation for this guy if you were not able to get the 5 attacks in a certain time threshold, right? So starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle, it's either you were going to get the 5th attack during this turn, or you were getting the transformation for this guy on this turn if he was on slot 1, right? So it was a little bit iffy to try to get him to do his transformation. And of course, once you get his transformation, he does become a really solid unit. He guards for 3 attacks. He has solid attack and defensive stats. He is going to... does he guarantee crit on his super? Yeah. He super attacks and all the attacks become guaranteed crits. So he does a lot of damage. And then of course you use the active skill. You have this Ghost Usher effect where you can be able to do whatever you want for the turn. So a lot of the memes were run this guy and run the tech androids, which again, the tech androids, their active skill is a Ghost Usher effect, which helps you delay the attack for multiple turns, which means you can be able to gain an advantage on how to take down the fight with those 2 characters. And you can mount that up a lot more if you run the AGL Pycon, because he also has an active skill that delays the single targeted enemy's attack for the turn. And oh my god, the cheesing was... for me, I don't find that an attractive way to play the game, but it is a way to get the win, I guess, in certain circumstances, right? So coming in, the first of my list, I don't know how to arrange it. You guys can be able to arrange it as however you guys want, but my first unit that I would say is one of the worst units in 2024, Super Trunks. Coming in at number 9, I guess I don't want to rank them like that. Coming in next, I guess I would say. Next up is Super Saiyan Gohan. This is the side banner character that came alongside the Super Trunks, and there's nothing special about this character whatsoever. So he does support Heavenly Events, which, by the way, Heavenly Events, it's Kami's Lookout. That was the tower that I was supposed to say about the best units in 2024. I haven't uploaded that video yet. I feel like this video will come up first, and I will have to redo the best units of 2024. So Heavenly Events is just units that are fighting in Kami's Lookout. that's the only reasoning of this category as a whole. And then of course Master Evolution, which of course the Super Trunks is in as the category that he's providing, right? So but again, there's nothing special about him. He stacks attack on his super attack. He gets defense upon getting hit. But this man is just a sponge, and it's a fragile sponge. He's more of a glass cannon kind of unit. I haven't been able to see a lot of good dominating performances from him. I did remember pulling him. I link level him, and I dropped him because he was not good enough. But that was... I feel like the whole this was in 20, yeah, this was 2024. This is the same time as Trunk release. So looking back, we had 21, Android 21 release, and we had the Evil 21. Evil 21 as a side banner character, bro, she was good on release. She was very good. And then when they started to shift gears into 2024 and they released Super Trunks, of course, Super Trunks is a lot earlier on JP. On global, he was brought up on 2024, therefore he qualifies as the worst units of 2024. They started, implementing these banner units where they had no purpose, and they were the only thing that they were good enough to do was to provide support. So going from Evil 21 with the quality that he has, going downwards to this guy, it's a tragedy. So he does get the additional that has a 70% chance to become a super, but this is when HP is 70% or more. And again, he stacks attack. He's 50% attack stacking. He can be able to do damage, but this is not good. The only good thing that I could say is that if you're going to take damage with this guy, he's going to heal you up. That's the only thing that I could say. But this is not great. This is not a good design for a character, especially for a side banner character. Who would want to help out on Super Trunks' condition to get to this position right here, right? So this guy is a part of the Android's Not Cell Saga team, but how are you going to add him to the team, which, you will want to get this condition out, where he can be able to get his Super Trunks form out, or not his Super Trunks form out, where you can be able to get the guard for 3 turns and have all of these additional stats that you're going to be missing out on. You would want to pile up the team with Android's Not Cell Saga characters, and the game just said, you know what, we're going to give you this, but this is not that great. I don't know what they did. This is one of the worst side banners they've ever touched upon. So really, really bad. That's all I can say. So there is our boy Gohan. Coming in next is going to be LR Carnival Omega Shenron. Now, Omega Shenron, again, there have been instances where the meme just happens and the character becomes good at a certain stage. So I don't remember, I think, no, I just remembered. The Pepe Gal stage. Where we were able to fight Bulma. Those tough bosses where you can be able to maybe cheese them up a little bit because you can be able to lower the attack of Bulma. Make a full GT bosses team, baby. Where GT bosses, you have the lineup where you can be able to bring in some characters that can lower attack. Who can be able to lower attack? This guy. He just casually attack minus 40% for all enemies. Oh goody. Well, would you look at that? Who else should you bring? Oh well, let me bring the 17s. Because the 17s, I think, is it Super 17 that can be able to lower attack? No, well, greatly lower in defense, which is good because it helps Omega Shenron do his shenanigans of attack lowering or defense lowering. So, like, there were multiple setups where you can be able to bring some GT bosses category characters in that team, and you can be able to lower the attack of the enemy. Like, look at this. You can bring this guy too and just lower the attack and defense of the enemy there. But here's the problem. This is GT bosses. Is this good? Is this good? Point out. Give me 5 units and I can make a team with Omega Shenron. Give me. Oh, Oceanus. She's good. She doesn't lower attack though on her passive. Now if you lower attack with Omega, this can work. This can be pretty good. So, I mean, defensively wise, she's not that great. She has a 50% chance to attack, but there's nothing. Like, she can get creamed. So, give me another suggestion. Super 17. Maybe his Super ECA can come through, but just greatly lower in defense, and that's it. Maybe these guys. You know, these guys that cost so much for you to get on the Ultimate Class shop. You guys get my point. GT bosses is trash. It's one of the worst categories in the game, and they introduced this guy who brought in the 200% leader skill for GT bosses. I feel that they could have done the treatment for LR Jiren the same way that they would have done this guy. If they did this guy just like LR Jiren, where you don't even have to give him a standby. You just give him the key for 200% to stats and then an additional category, maybe Shadow Dragon Saga. Because he is on Shadow Dragon Saga. Just give him that. Key 3, 200% to stats to Shadow Dragon Saga. And have him get some more opportunities to be shown off. Because GT bosses, again, look at this category. This is non-existent. I think no, Universe 11 has less people in it. But this is trash. This is an abomination. So, like, a lot of people are not gonna summon for this guy. Again, this is one of the like 60% support units that comes every 2 years. So not a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, let me summon for these characters, right? So it's just not a great team overall. And when this guy came out when Super Saiyan 4 Goku came out 2023. Of course, this guy was delayed insanely on a global, and they took his sweet time for it to be brought up into the game and bringing in an additional stage into the Birth of the Shadow Dragons event, which is of course the Omega Shenron stage, which of course sadly Super Saiyan 4 Goku is only good in there, right? So they kind of fumbled the ball with this. You had to run a full GT bosses team so you can be able to max this out. And again, like, who are you running? Who are you running in here? There's nobody. Like, if they give ECAs to these guys, this guy gets an ECA, we get a good, like, maybe Legion of Shadow Dragons. Because this guy, yeah, Legions of Shadow Dragons, but these guys suck. But if we get maybe like a different card, maybe like a Dokkan Fest baby. You know how Legends has an LF Super Baby 2? Maybe we can get that. We can get that instead of the Great Ape. Like, that could be like the active skill goes into Great Ape instead of just being Super Baby 2 Great Ape. So they can have a new named character. So it's the same as this guy. Well, same as this guy, but instead of Super Baby 1, it's just Super Baby 2. Like a good Dokkan Festival character. And give more opportunities and more venues for you to be able to use GT bosses. That would have been awesome, but GT bosses suck. It's a horrible category. So yeah, coming in wherever spot you want to put them, good old GT bosses lead Omega Shenron. Tragedy. Now a lot of people are gonna hate me for this one. We're gonna be bringing Vegito in. Okay, hey, before you type into the comments, don't go aggressive on me. He's good. I feel like comparison to everybody in here, he's like the number 10 if you want to rank him in here. The only issue that I have with him is the way that you need to get him. The transformation condition is just pretty bad. So they kept the transformation condition. HP is 77% or less, starting from the 4th turn from the start of the battle. His damage reduction is sort of decent-ish. So he only gets 20% damage reduction when HP is 50% or more when attacking. And that is when attacking. He gets the 30% damage reduction in there too. But if you put this man in comparison to this guy, where 40% damage reduction, they get an additional 20% damage reduction for the first entry turn. Like, these guys are sitting decently with 60% damage reduction. What the hell happened here? Why did they drop the ball with these guys? I don't get it. And then of course once we go into Vegito, you get the full heal. And you get 30% damage reduction with the additional 30% damage reduction to the normals. But again, when you go into this guy, 40% damage reduction, he gets an additional 40% damage reduction for 5 turns. Like, what happened that Dokkan just said, let's make this guy ass and the other guy good? He gets attack and defense plus 77%. This could have been the damage reduction that he needed. You would have given him 40% damage reduction instead of this, and I would have been fine. But because of the fact that they wanted to make this guy a lot more damaging, they cut corners with him and made him the way that he is. So it kind of sucks that they made him this way. That is just my statement as to why he is sort of leaning into my list as to like one of the worst units in the game. Now, when I say one of the worst units released in the game, I don't mean it in the sense of like, man, he sucks, he's awful, he's horrible. So before you go typing in the comments why he's bad, this is the main reason why I'm stating that he's bad. That once you get into this position, you can be able to just work effective as a counter machine where he's just delivering ultra mega loads of damage on his counters. However, I don't feel like they gave him enough. That is why he's on this list. They could have given him a lot more in comparison to what they did Gogeta in. So that's one of the main reasons why Vegito is here. Other than that, he's completely fine. He's one of the most like normal units ever. But again, I feel like they dropped the ball in comparison to like Gogeta, bro. Gogeta looks so much better than Vegito. So I don't understand why they dropped the ball on not delivering a lot more justice on Vegito than this guy. Like, look at him. 40% damage reduction. He gets an additional 40% damage reduction. Like, they could have given him the additional attack and defense separately, but they didn't do that. They decided to give that additional attack and defense on that segment where he gets the scouter for 10 turns. So yes, he may have 60% damage reduction, but that 80% damage reduction that Gogeta has helps him out when like this is active. So if you have both of them, who are you going to rely more on tanking the super attack? Gogeta. You use Gogeta to tank the super, and this guy to tank the normals. So I feel like they could have given him a lot more. That's why this guy's here. So Vegito, that's why you're here. I'm sorry, buddy. Coming up next is Rose Goku Black. I feel like this is going to be the same case as Vegito, where again, these guys are just missing something crucial. So when this guy came out as a complete surprise for Global, because he was a Global first, and Global decided, hey, let's release him. The problem is, he released and he was bugged in the game. We didn't knew he was bugged until this guy released on the Japanese version of the game. So by realizing that, they released him on the Japanese version of the game. Oh, and that reminds me, there is a side banner character that released alongside that physical Rose Goku Black, which is this guy. Where was he? So they unfortunately had to delay the release of this guy and put him in a banner as another character alongside the main Dokkan Fest and side banner characters. You guys want to know who that banner was? You guys want to know what banner was that? If you guessed I am way behind. Wait. If you guessed this Pod Frieza, you win a prize. You win a kiss from me. So yeah, they added him into this banner because this was the time frame where Goku Black released on JP. JP saw, hey, listen, he's bugged. There's a section of his passive that should have been working and it's not working. So they added that section of his passive. They fixed him up on Global, and they added this guy on the banner for Frieza. So this banner became an 8 featured banner. right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, never mind. So they removed a character from here and made it a Dokkan Fest, just with regular 7 characters in here. That was one of the most stupidest decisions they've ever made in the game. Really, I don't know why they did that. So yeah, Goku Black release bugged on global. We didn't know that he was missing something until he did. So he was missing this portion of his passive, where he can be able to launch another super attack when the character attacks 10 or more times in battle. So that extra super attack would have come in handy on certain occasions of the fight. So he missed out on that. And then, of course, we were missing the side banner character that should have been released first on global, but he didn't came out until JP had to release him first. So, and the fix came later. I think I remember that. The fix came a lot later than when JP had him. So it's just one of the most stupidest decisions that they've ever made. So yeah, for Goku Black. I mean, he's still very underrated. I haven't done a Goku and Frieza fight with Goku Black. I kind of want to do one just to see how well he works there. But yeah, he's a little bit misunderstood, I could say. So yeah, Goku Black coming in right here on the list of worst units in 2024. Coming up next is this first form Frieza, this pod Frieza. Do we pair him up in the top 3 like this? Maybe not, because there's flaws with this character. So he's not very great defensively. There's instances where I tried to run this guy where he just takes so much damage and you're just dead because of him. And you have to mainly wait until he super attacks, because even on his super attacks, he's just building up attack. So the more he's stacking attack, the more damage he's able to do. And we've been able to see that whenever he tosses out his active with the greatest show in the universe. And the only way that you can be able to make this guy work is that, of course, you have to make the team full of Terrifying Conquerors. And you have to be fighting low-class warriors and pure Saiyans. So if you're not fighting any of those and you don't have Terrifying Conquerors category allies on the team, this guy's a paperweight. And oh, by the way, you need Space Traveling Warriors to make his intro work. So yeah, what a spaghetti of a unit. I feel like this guy is just a maze of just troubles and flaws and pocket holes in his passive that makes him just horrendously bad. So you need Space Traveling Warriors category characters on the team in order for his intro to work. You need Terrifying Conquerors category allies on the team in order for him to get the extra defense and the crit chances. You need to fight a pure Saiyans category enemy or a low class warrior category enemy. Actually, wait a minute. If there's a pure Saiyans category enemy, launches an additional super when there's a low class warrior category enemy. I feel like this is a bad phrasing. So he launches an additional super attack when there's a pure Saiyans or low class warrior category enemy, plus he gets an additional attack plus 100%. No, he gets an additional super, and he gets an additional attack plus 100%, and a chance of performing a critical hit plus 50% if you're fighting a pure Saiyans or low class warrior category enemy. Yeah, the phrasing of this is just terrible. But yeah, that's bad. So you have to fight a specific enemy and have specific units on the team in order for him to use his passive and have his intro buff for him to be good. No. This is just a flawed character. This is not great. And of course, the active skill, this can be activated when there's low class warrior, pure Saiyans category enemy, starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or starting from the 5th turn. Which, again, they made a little bit more progress, because if you guys remember Super Trunks, you can't get this. You have to fight a Cell if you want to get it immediately. Or, no, on turn 5, you had to fight a Cell. It's ridiculous, bro. But yeah, Frieza coming in. It's just a flawed unit. And defensive-wise, he's not getting anything. He's just getting a lot of attack power. Yeah, he's getting defense here, but if this was building up defense, let's say you get defense plus 20% up to 100% per Terrifying Conquerors category ally on the team. That would have been better. But this is just defense plus 20%. I feel just this is just a flat defense plus 20%. I don't think you're getting the 100%. It all depends. Because it says defense plus 20% and a chance of performing a critical hit plus 10% per terrifying conqueror's category ally on the team. So I'm assuming there's no max. This is just 100% defense, I'm thinking. And then 50% chance to crit. This is a very offensive character, but there's no defense. He doesn't have anything that can help him. He doesn't have guard, he doesn't have damage reduction. He's just a weak link, basically. So, yeah. Boy Frieza, pretty bad. So, like, when I say that these guys are in the list, I'm not ranking this guy above, like, let's say this guy is worse than this guy. No. That's just one of the worst designs that I would have said, Dokkan, what the heck are you doing? So, our boy Pod Frieza coming in on the list. Coming in next is the Captain Ginyu Force unit. So this was supposed to be the unit that released alongside Frieza. However, you know how global works. Global shenanigans before the sync. You guys understand. So this unit came out after the release of Dokkan Fest Topo. Now Dokkan Fest Topo kind of makes a little bit of sense because he leads special posts. However, it doesn't make any sense because it's Planet Namek Saga. So on JP, I think it worked the same way. They released Topo and then they released the Ginyu Force, which I don't understand why they went that route, but it is what it is. But yeah, this guy just did not have any units. He did not have a team. He did not have a category and things like that. And I believe that, I think during the anniversary we did get, you know, Gamma 1, Gamma 2, those were in special pose, but these guys in general needed 5 other special pose category characters on the team for their intro to work, for their extra defense, for their support, anything to work. Because this guy was without a home for the longest time. When did Topo? No, because Global, shut up. Global did not come out with this guy. So this guy came out early on June, but Topo came out on August. So JP released Topo and then came out with this guy. So he had a home with Topo. Global did not have anybody to run this guy with. Now I'm starting to remember. I know my stuff. So yeah, looking back in the day, this guy came out on June of 2024, and Topo came out on freaking Topo came out on August. So literally, this guy had no place to be ran. So we pulled him. It's like, okay, what do we do? Do we just run a Ginyu Force team? I think if I go back and revisit my showcases, it's either a full Gamma's team, or a Gotenks led team, or a Ginyu Force team. I think that's what it has. I think that's what it was, because you had to get a full team full of special pose in order for you to use his intro. Otherwise, you're losing so much from this character's kit. So during his release, he had nobody. God, the timing of Global is just so beautiful. It's just such a beautiful nightmare, just a beautiful disaster. So damage reduction, but he needed a full special pose category, like team ally on the team. He was able to provide good support, which was not bad. I still feel like I should do a revisit of him. Look at all the different attacks that he does. So he does he does the 18 key, he does the 15 key, he does the 12 key, and these attacks differ. You have a chance between either Birder and G's, Raccoon and Goldo, and then Ginyu. It's just a quirky, weird little character. And then, of course, I think we ran Ginyu as the team leader. Here's the problem with Ginyu. Ginyu released back in 2020. No, 2022. So there was no way in hell to run this guy alongside this 2024 LR on a 2022 led team. because this guy's just paper mache at this point. We're waiting for a ZCA. The only problem is that I remember during the showcases for this guy, oh, we need AGO Ginyu ZCA, man. When is that coming out? It wasn't. It was never gonna come out because this guy is a 200% lead, so we were never gonna be able to get that. It was we have to wait until the 70th anniversary characters to get their ECAs in order for them to get their ECAs. But yeah, you can see they link up pretty well with the Gammas and of course with the Ginyu Force team. But yeah, there was a wonky character, very bad design. He needed to be released with somebody else. Like what else could you do with this guy? God. Oh, this unit. So yeah, Ginyu Force coming on the list, one of the worst characters released because he did not have a place to be ran in. So yeah. Alright, again, this guy's released this year, so I will count them as units released this year. So this is the side banner character for the 17 and 18, as you guys can see. I feel like this is the same case with, or like similar to the same case as Gohan when he came out. Just bad. Just there's nothing. There's nothing in here. So got some good links with Ribrianne here and there, but a Power of Wishes lead. You need a Power of Wishes or tournament participants category characters on the team in order for you to be able to get some good stuff out of him. I don't think I've ever utilized this guy apart from link leveling, and that's it. Like I've never used this character. Like again, this was the main point where they started releasing, oh, unit, side banner unit, unit, side banner unit, Dokkan Fest character, side banner unit, Dokkan Fest character, he needs to have a side banner character. Like, they were hogging so bad the fact that when you have a Dokkan Fest character, you need to release a side banner character for it. There's no, because it just messes up the synergy of the team. The way that the game intends you to run these guys is that, oh, you pull 17 and 18, you're running this guy on the team. No, you're not, because first of all, they don't link well. They're not even near the best linking partners in there. Second, they don't provide anything beneficial to the team. Yeah, they can disable the attacked enemy's action until once within a turn, but they don't have, they're not guarding, they don't have dodge, they don't have, they will kill you. You're dead if you run these guys on the team. You use them on Goku and Frieza. You use them up against the Goku and Frieza stage. Check how that goes. But yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. This character was an empty hole when 17 and 18 came out. Like, there's no place to run these guys in. These are like, what, the Universe 2 sidekicks? They were like the same as like Ribrianne and Kakunsa and Rosie. So it's like one of the weirdest characters ever released. It's just a bad design. Oh, he gets attack and defense plus 50% per Power Wishes or tournament participants category allies on the team, depending on which category has more members. He only gets 2 key. Where's the rest? He gets attack and defense plus 100%. He gets an additional that has a 50% chance to becoming a super. Oh, but wait a minute. He only greatly raises attack. Where's the defense? This guy has no defense. So he gets whiffed by Goku and Frieza, you're dead. So yeah, that's why these guys suck. This was one of the most terrible side banner characters. I think it was in competition with this guy and of course Gohan. Like one of the worst banner decisions ever. So, and both of them are STR, which go figure. All right, Sirloin, Ramboundra, and Sarbudo. You guys made the list. You know, that's what I should have been saying. You guys made the list of worst units in 2024. There we go. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, Dokkan Fest Scouter Vegeta. You know, I don't want to say that this guy is similar to Frieza, or there's some holes in there, but I don't feel like I feel like this guy is more structurally sound than Frieza. So he had his intro, and of course, I feel like when this guy came out, dude, I was so mad because this could have been Final Form Frieza. But of course, they're possibly trying to save Final Form Frieza for maybe like a Golden Week celebration this year. Maybe, fingers crossed. But yeah, like this guy came out, oh, Fireworks Vegeta, woo, Namek Saga, we're back in the Namek Saga. So this guy got his attack, like, I feel like this is a start of turn buff, and he only got that during his intro. Where this should have been as an additional point to his passive. But no, they just decided, let's just put that on his intro. Let's just see how it goes. Let's just put that on his intro. And you only got to be facing one enemy in order for this to be active, by the way. Because if you're not facing one enemy, let's say the Super Saiyan Gohan Supreme Magnificent Battle, where you're fighting 3 enemies at the beginning of the fight. Buddy, your intro's not active. You're dead. So you had to depend on this, which he changes his own orb, so you had to collect a lot of key spheres in order for him to be able to get some good attack and defense there. He has 30% damage reduction, then he gets 18% chance to dodge, and then vice versa, he gets an additional 18% damage reduction, and of course chances of dodging plus 30%, so it's kind of inverted. And this is when HP is 50% or more. He tosses an additional super attack. So when attacking, he gets the 18% damage reduction and 30% chance to dodge. So technically speaking, it's going to be 48% chances to dodge, 48% damage reduction. And if you had 50% HP or more, excuse me, you get an additional super. So not bad, right? But this character is like a snowball effect because he does stack defense, but it was so slow that this guy, you had to depend a lot on collecting a lot of key spheres for him, because otherwise you would have been smoked with this Vegeta. So not a lot of people summon for him, rightly so, because he sucks. So just trying to depend on this was your gateway to success. So then, like, if you're on like turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, where you can be able to do all the additional super attacks that he's able to do, he has some additional orb changing. So you had to do 5 super attacks with him, and then after he does the 5 super attacks, he changes all the key spheres into AGL, and then after that, he randomly changes key spheres to AGL from the already rainbow orb changing. So he was good on that segment there, but again, he's a snowball character because he's stacking defense. The slower you go, the slower you're going to progress. So yeah, I feel like this was a bad design. He's very weak. If he had an additional buff at the start of turn and not have this locked on his intro, because you need to find one enemy in order for you to use it, then you would have been in a better spot. But for now, I feel like that is just killing what the consistency of this character. So yeah, Vegeta, you made the list. Coming in as the worst, I feel, the worst design character, or just one of the worst units in 2024, is this LR Anilasa. You guys want to talk about him? So, came out this year, about a few months ago. He's not 3 months old yet, so you should be able to use him on very difficult stages, right? No. So it's an unfortunate case scenario where, first of all, this character, you're never gonna see any other type of representation of Anilasa in the game ever, unless Dokkan decides to release maybe like a Dokkan Fest Ribrianne, or a Dokkan Fest, I don't know, a Dokkan Fest Rosie or something like that, or an LR Caulifla with a side banner character, Anilasa. When they do this for Ultimate Clash, they just cement characters that are never going to get any type of representation in Dokkan. They just put them in here. Same with like the Frieza 17, not Frieza 17, the Frieza GT Cell and GT Frieza. They put them as Ultimate Clash LRs. They're rendered useless immediately as you put them as Ultimate Clash LRs, because first of all, it takes so long to get even one copy of this character. it takes a long time. He should be available right now because most people might have not collected him, but for us being able to showcase the characters and things like that in videos, he takes 520,000 memory, like battlefield memories, in order for you to exchange it for him, and he sucks. He's so bad. So he has his intro only for 3 turns. You're able to foresee his enemy super attacks. You get in the attack and defense buff, just like I mentioned with Vegeta. At least he has it standard. The only thing is though, you're losing it on turn 3, whilst Vegeta I think is permanent. You're just gonna be fighting one enemy. So if Vegeta had this the same way that Anilasa has it, we could have a tea party, bro. He could have been a lot better, but he only has that just on his intro. That's it. So he has 30% damage reduction when HP is 30% or more, but you need to collect a lot of key spheres for this character to work. So if you collect 5 or more key spheres, he tosses an additional super attack. You collect 3 or more key spheres, he tosses an additional that has a 50% chance to become a super. He has an additional 30% damage reduction, but you have to put him on slot 1. So 60% damage reduction. I use this guy. I put him on slot 1. Y'all want to know how much he took? He was taking 140k damage on slot 1 with 60% damage reduction, by the way. He's just bad. He's just overall bad. There's nothing in here. Maybe if you would have given him maybe guard or something like that, that could have worked a little bit to his benefit. He gets an extra key plus 24 in defense, attack and defense plus 30% for the turn. Of course, if you're running a full, if you're facing a tournament participants category enemy, I think it was UI Goku who we were fighting, and it was just the previous version of UI Goku. That's how bad you suck. Oh my god. So yeah, he was pretty, he's bad. He's just one of the worst characters ever released. He's just not on good categories. The links are bad. The team partners that he wants to be alongside with is just not that great. I think, didn't he require you to, yeah, he requires you to have a final trump card or super bosses category ally on the team. So it's either you run him with Cell Max, or with somebody with final trump card, which is this Samasu. And I think this is the only 200% that he has. So he doesn't have any, there's no space, there's no leeway, there's nothing. This guy sucks. So yeah, there you go. 2024 had some good stuff, but man, they dropped the ball heavily on some of these characters. So there you guys have it. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts and opinions on this. Again, this is gonna sting for a lot of people. I know that. These two most likely are gonna sting, and the only reason why I have them in here is because of the fact that they fumbled the ball with this guy. Global released him, and he was missing a portion of his passive. He was missing a side banner character, and they took his time to fix him. While JP, oh, we're gonna release him fixed up, ready to go, and he has the side banner character, so you guys don't need to worry. And then this, in comparison to what Gogeta brings to the fray, I feel like they could have designed this character a lot better. So that's one of the main reasons these guys are in here. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. What are your units? What do you classify your units as, like one of the worst characters in the game of 2024? Let me know down in the comments below as well. So yeah, a little bit of a lengthy video, but I apologize for that. But I also need to go through some of the best units that came out in 2024. So yeah, I will do that in the next video. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.